Let me ask you something. Why is it that two students sitting in the same class, studying the same subject, facing the same exam, have completely different experiences? Feels calm, confident, and focused, while the other feels nervous, pressured, and exhausted. The difference is not intelligence. It's how they handle their journey toward their targets. Clarity of targets is one of the most powerful tools a student can develop, and it is also one of the most overlooked. Many students wake up each day with vague ambitions in their minds: pass the exam, get good grades, make their parents proud. These intentions sound noble. They are not clear enough to guide daily action. When the goal is unclear, the mind becomes confused, and confusion is the seed of stress. Imagine trying to run a race where the finish line keeps moving. You would eventually lose hope, not because you are slow, but because you never knew where to run in the first place. In the same way, when students set targets that are vague or too broad, they end up carrying the heavy burden of uncertainty, which creates unnecessary pressure. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you never miss the next one. Let's come back to the point. So friends, true clarity begins with breaking down large dreams into measurable, achievable steps. For example, instead of saying, to score high marks, a clear target would be, I want to finish 2 chapters of mathematics this week and revise them by Sunday night. The difference is enormous. The first statement is like staring at the peak of a mountain. It looks beautiful, but also intimidating. The second statement is like planning your first climb. It is specific, and it gives you something practical to hold on to. When students think in this way, they move from being dreamers to being doers, and doers naturally experience less stress because they know what the next step looks like. Another important aspect of clarity is learning to prioritize. Students often try to chase 10 goals at once: preparing for exams, excelling in sports, joining clubs, learning new skills, and staying socially active. While ambition is admirable, the brain cannot give 100% focus to everything simultaneously. Without clarity of priority, students feel as if they are being pulled in multiple directions. This tension creates inner conflict. By deciding which targets matter most at a particular moment, students reduce this conflict. For instance, during exam season, primary focus might be academics, while during vacations, skill building or sports may take priority. Clarity and priority ensures that the mind is not torn apart, and this sense of order directly reduces stress. Clarity also means aligning targets with personal strengths and passions. Many students carry targets that are not truly theirs but borrowed from parents, peers, or society. A student who loves literature but sets a target of excelling in advanced physics just to please others may constantly feel drained. The stress here is not from the difficulty of the subject, but from the misalignment of personal interest with the chosen target. Students set goals that resonate with who they are. They experience natural motivation, and stress takes a back seat. The joy of working on something meaningful acts like a shield against pressure. Moreover, clarity helps in measuring progress. Without clear targets, progress is invisible. A student might spend hours studying and still feel they are not moving forward, which triggers self-doubt and anxiety. But with precise goals, progress becomes visible and encouraging. Finishing a set number of practice questions, completing a chapter, or mastering a new concept provides a sense of accomplishment. Each small victory builds confidence and reduces the weight of the bigger challenge. It transforms the journey from one long, stressful marathon into a series of rewarding sprints. Lastly, clarity eliminates unnecessary comparison. Stress often grows when students compare themselves with others who seem to be doing better. When a student has a clear personal target, they measure themselves against their own progress rather than against others. This shift in perspective is liberating. Instead of asking, am I as good as them? The question becomes, did I achieve what I planned for myself today? This internal competition is healthier, more sustainable, far less stressful. In conclusion, Clarity of targets is not just about writing down goals, it is about designing a map for one's journey. It reduces confusion, builds focus, provides a constant sense of progress. When students understand this, they no longer waste energy fighting uncertainty. Instead, they invest their energy in moving forward step by step, and in doing so, they achieve more with far less stress. Focusing on the process rather than just the results is one of the wisest approaches a student can adopt in their academic journey. Results are like the tip of an iceberg, visible and celebrated, but they are always built upon countless hours of effort that remain hidden. When students concentrate solely on the result, such as a grade, rank, or award, they put all their emotional energy into something that is not entirely in their control. This obsession often generates stress, because even with hard work, the outcome can still be influenced by factors like exam difficulty, evaluation standards, or competition. On the other hand, the process, studying consistently, practicing daily, revising thoroughly, is something students can directly control. This shift of attention reduces stress because the student's sense of progress no longer depends on uncertain external outcomes, but on tangible daily actions. The process mindset also transforms how students experience learning. When the sole focus is on the end result, learning becomes a burden, something to endure until the goal is reached. Each chapter feels heavy, every assignment feels like a punishment, and the journey itself becomes a source of anxiety. When students start valuing the process, they begin to notice the small joys hidden within it. Solving a difficult problem, understanding a complex theory, remembering a concept during revision gives them a sense of achievement long before the exam arrives. These small wins build motivation, and stress is replaced by satisfaction. The pressure to prove themselves fades because the student is already proving something every single day by engaging wholeheartedly in the process. Another benefit of focusing on the process is the resilience it creates. Results are binary. You either achieve them or you don't. When students fail to meet the outcome they set, they often feel crushed and believe their efforts were wasted. But if they measure success through their process, no effort is ever wasted. For example, a student who consistently practices math problems for months may not achieve the top score in one exam. The problem-solving skills they developed will benefit them in future tests and even in life beyond school. By valuing the process, students see setbacks not as final defeats, but as part of a longer journey. This perspective prevents stress from turning into hopelessness and keeps them motivated to continue. Consistency is another gift that comes from a process-focused mindset. Students who chase results often study in bursts of panic, cramming before deadlines or exams. A regular pattern breeds exhaustion and stress. But when the focus is on the process, students build habits. They learn to dedicate a set amount of time daily to study, practice, and reflection. Over time, these habits accumulate into mastery. The irony is that when students focus less on the final result and more on consistent process, the results naturally improve. Stress is replaced by confidence because the student knows they have built the foundation day by day. Focusing on the process also nurtures patience. In today's world, students are surrounded by instant gratification, social media likes, quick entertainment, and fast communication. This creates frustration when academic results take months or years to appear. But when students learn to respect the process, they begin to value patience. They understand that growth is gradual and that mastery takes time. This acceptance of slowness calms the mind, reduces the urgency that fuels stress, and fosters deeper learning. Finally, the process-centered approach cultivates a healthier sense of self-worth. Students who base their identity on results often feel good only when they succeed and worthless when they fail. This fragile confidence can shatter under pressure. Students who value the process recognize themselves as hardworking, disciplined, and persistent individuals regardless of the final outcome. Their confidence comes not from a single result, but from their ongoing commitment. This inner stability shields them from stress, because their self-image no longer rises and falls with every exam or grade. Time management and prioritization are two of the most essential skills that determine whether a student thrives or struggles under pressure. Many students experience stress not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they fail to manage their hours effectively. Time, unlike money or resources, the one asset that cannot be replenished. Once it passes, it is gone forever. When students don't use it wisely, tasks pile up, deadlines sneak closer, and panic begins to grow. The key lies in structuring time in such a way that every important responsibility receives attention while unnecessary distractions are minimized. This structure not only improves productivity, but also keeps the mind calm, because there is clarity on what must be done and when. Common mistake students make is believing they have unlimited time to finish their work, which leads to procrastination. They push tasks until the last moment, only to find themselves overwhelmed with the workload and stressed about the outcome. When students adopt proper time management, this cycle breaks. Creating schedules, to-do lists, study plans allows them to see clearly how much work is ahead and how it can be divided into manageable parts. For instance, preparing for an exam that is a month away feels daunting if left for the last week. But by dedicating 2 hours daily from the beginning, the same preparation feels lighter and stress-free. Planning in advance gives students a sense of control, which directly reduces anxiety. Prioritization is equally important. Students often confuse being busy with being productive. They may spend hours on less important activities like rewriting notes in perfect handwriting or scrolling through endless information that adds little to their understanding. Such activities give the illusion of studying. They rarely contribute to achieving real progress. Stress arises when students spend significant time on unimportant things and then realize that the essential tasks remain unfinished. Prioritization solves this problem by forcing them to ask which tasks matter most right now. Which ones will bring me closer to my goal? By answering these questions honestly, students learn to focus their energy where it counts, rather than wasting it in areas that do not impact results. Balancing study with rest is another aspect of time management that reduces stress. Some students believe that studying non-stop without breaks is the key to success. This only leads to mental exhaustion. A brain that is overworked loses its capacity to concentrate, and eventually productivity decreases. Scheduling breaks, relaxation, and even leisure activities is part of effective time management. These moments of rest recharge the brain, allowing it to return to work with more focus and efficiency. Stress often builds when students ignore this balance, pushing themselves into unhealthy cycles of fatigue. By respecting both work and rest, they create harmony in their schedule and avoid burnout. Another critical advantage of managing time well is the ability to prepare for the unexpected. Life is unpredictable. Family responsibilities, sudden illnesses, or technical problems can appear at any time. Students who have poor time management already live on the edge of deadlines, so when unexpected challenges arise, their stress multiplies. On the other hand, students who plan ahead and stay consistent always have a buffer. They can adapt to surprises without feeling crushed by them. This flexibility gives them confidence and peace of mind in that they are prepared for both routine days and unforeseen events. Lastly, effective time management teaches students the discipline of saying no. There are countless distractions, social media, television, hanging out endlessly with friends, that consume precious hours. When students don't set boundaries, these distractions steal time meant for meaningful work, leaving them stressed when deadlines approach. But when they learn to prioritize and protect their time, they develop the courage to decline unnecessary activities. Habit strengthens their focus, saves mental energy, and ensures that their hours are invested in tasks that truly matter. In the end, time management and prioritization are not about filling every minute with work, but about creating a balanced rhythm where study, rest, and personal growth coexist, leaving no room for stress to dominate. Adopting a growth mindset is one of the most powerful ways students can achieve their goals without drowning in stress. Growth mindset is the belief that intelligence and abilities are not fixed traits, but skills that can be developed with effort, practice, and learning. Many students unknowingly operate with a fixed mindset, thinking they are either naturally good at something or not. This way of thinking creates enormous stress because every mistake feels like proof of incompetence, and every challenge feels like an impossible wall. In contrast, mindset allows students to see mistakes as opportunities and challenges as stepping stones. When they change their perspective in this way, the pressure to be perfect fades, and the journey of learning becomes less stressful and more rewarding. One of the greatest sources of stress for students is the fear of failure. They worry about disappointing parents, teachers, or themselves. With a fixed mindset, failure feels like the end of the road, a permanent label that defines who they are. With a growth mindset, failure is reframed as temporary feedback. A low grade is no longer evidence of stupidity, but a signal that more preparation is needed, that a new strategy must be tried. This approach reduces stress because failure no longer carries shame, it carries lessons. Students accept that every mistake is part of learning. They replace anxiety with curiosity, asking, "What can I learn from this?" instead of, "Is wrong with me?" Another important benefit of a growth mindset is resilience. Challenges and difficulties are unavoidable in academic life. Some concepts will feel too complex, some exams will feel too tough, and some efforts will not yield immediate results. Students with a fixed mindset tend to give up when the road becomes difficult, believing they have reached the limit of their ability. This surrender breeds frustration and stress. In contrast, students with a growth mindset approach the same challenge with persistence, knowing that effort and consistency eventually lead to mastery. They remind themselves that even the smartest people once struggled in the beginning. This resilience allows them to continue despite setbacks, reducing stress because they trust the process of improvement. The growth mindset also encourages students to embrace feedback rather than fear it. Criticism from teachers or parents can feel harsh when viewed through a fixed mindset lens because it seems to confirm inadequacy. This creates pressure to avoid mistakes and to hide weaknesses. But with a growth mindset, feedback becomes valuable guidance. Instead of being crushed by criticism, students see it as free advice to refine their skills. This shift in perception transforms stress into motivation. Knowing that feedback is not an attack but a gift makes learning less intimidating and more collaborative. Moreover, adopting a growth mindset helps students build confidence that is deep and lasting. Confidence rooted in a fixed mindset depends on always succeeding, but the moment failure arrives, collapses. Confidence built on a growth mindset is stronger because it comes from the belief that improvement is always possible. A student may not understand a subject today. With persistence, they know they can understand it tomorrow. This belief calms the mind and reduces the stress of competing with others because the student focuses on their own progress rather than comparing themselves to peers. Finally, a growth mindset inspires curiosity and love for learning. Students are no longer chained to the fear of being judged by results. They allow themselves to explore, experiment, and take risks. They try new problem-solving techniques, questions, and venture into areas outside their comfort zone. This freedom turns learning into a journey of discovery instead of a race for grades. Stress weakens when the goal is no longer about proving oneself, but about growing every day. With this mindset, students not only achieve their targets, but also build the inner strength to handle future challenges with confidence and calmness. A healthy lifestyle and self-care are the foundation of stress-free achievement for students, yet they are often the most neglected areas of student life. Many believe that success is a result of endless studying, sacrificing sleep, skipping meals, and ignoring physical health. While this approach might bring short-term results, it leads to exhaustion, burnout, and high levels of stress in the long run. The truth is that the body and mind are deeply connected, and neglecting one directly affects the other. Students who want to achieve their targets effectively must first learn to take care of their physical and mental well-being, because a tired body and an anxious mind can never perform at their best. Sleep is one of the most powerful yet underestimated elements of a healthy lifestyle. Many students reduce sleep to gain more study hours, believing it will give them an advantage. In reality, lack of rest decreases memory retention, weakens focus, problem-solving ability. The brain processes and consolidates information during sleep, so sacrificing it undermines learning. Students who manage their schedules to allow consistent and adequate rest perform better, not because they work more hours, but because the hours they do work are more productive. Stress often comes from the fatigue and irritability that follow sleepless nights, but a well-rested student wakes up with clarity and energy to face the day. Nutrition is another critical factor. Skipping meals or relying on junk food may seem convenient, but it deprives the brain of the fuel it needs to function efficiently. Poor diet often leads to low energy, mood swings, and difficulty concentrating, all of which add to stress. A balanced diet rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, proteins, and proper hydration supports consistent energy levels and mental sharpness. Students who eat well are more resilient, not only physically but emotionally, because their body is better equipped to handle pressure. Small habits such as drinking enough water and avoiding excessive caffeine or sugar can drastically improve focus and reduce stress levels. Exercise is equally important in maintaining balance. Physical activity is not just about staying fit, it is one of the most effective natural stress relievers. When students engage in exercise, whether it is running, yoga, cycling, or even a short walk, their body releases endorphins, chemicals that improve mood and reduce anxiety. Regular movement also improves sleep quality and enhances concentration. Students who make time for exercise often find themselves calmer, more energetic, and better able to manage academic challenges. By contrast, neglecting physical activity can trap students in cycles of fatigue and mental restlessness. Beyond physical health, self-care involves maintaining mental and emotional balance. Academic pressure can create intense stress, but practices like mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to relax help students manage this pressure. Self-care is about creating moments to recharge, reflect, and regain perspective. For example, spending a few minutes daily in silence or deep breathing can calm the nervous system and reduce stress hormones. Similarly, hobbies such as reading, painting, listening to music give the mind a break from constant academic demands. These moments of renewal prevent burnout and allow students to return to their studies with fresh focus. Equally vital is the ability to set boundaries. Many students overcommit, taking on more responsibilities than they can handle, whether in academics, extracurriculars, social obligations. Self-care means recognizing personal limits and learning to say no when necessary. Protecting one's time and energy ensures that priorities remain balanced and stress does not accumulate unnecessarily. This discipline is not selfish. It is essential for sustaining long-term achievement. Ultimately, students who embrace a healthy lifestyle and self-care create a foundation of strength, clarity, and balance. Their bodies provide them with energy, their minds give them focus, and their emotions stay steady under pressure. Instead of being victims of stress, they become resilient achievers, capable of meeting their targets without sacrificing their well-being. Positive support system is one of the most powerful tools for students who want to achieve their targets without carrying unnecessary stress. Determination and discipline are personal qualities. Human beings are social by nature, and no one thrives in isolation. Students surround themselves with supportive people, such as friends, mentors, teachers, or family members. They create a network of encouragement that makes challenges easier to face. Stress often grows when students feel alone in their struggles. A strong support system provides reassurance, guidance, and motivation that lighten the mental load. One of the greatest advantages of a support system is emotional relief. Academic life is filled with pressures, from deadlines and exams to competition and expectations. Keeping all of these emotions bottled up inside increases stress, sometimes to the point of burnout. When students have people they can openly share their concerns with, the burden immediately feels lighter. Talking to a trusted friend about exam anxiety or discussing personal challenges with a mentor allows emotions to be released instead of suppressed. Often, the act of being heard itself reduces stress even before solutions are found. A supportive listener helps students feel understood and less isolated, which builds resilience. A positive support system also provides perspective. When students are stressed, their minds often exaggerate problems, making challenges look bigger than they really are. A parent, teacher, or close friend can remind them to look at the bigger picture. For example, failing one quiz might feel like the end of the world to a student. A mentor can remind them that it is only a small step in a longer journey, and that improvement is always possible. Outside perspective reduces panic and helps students refocus on constructive actions instead of dwelling on negative emotions. Guidance is another valuable aspect. Students do not always have the experience to know the best strategies for handling academic or personal challenges. Or a senior student who has walked a similar path can share practical advice on how to prepare for exams, manage time, or overcome setbacks. Having someone to offer tested strategies saves time and reduces the stress of trial and error. This mentorship transforms stress into learning opportunities, showing students that they are not lost, but supported by wisdom from those who have already succeeded. Encouragement from a support system also fuels motivation. There are moments when students doubt their abilities or feel like giving up. During such times, even a single word of encouragement can reignite determination. Friends who study together, family members who express belief in their potential, or teachers who acknowledge their progress all contribute to building confidence. That others believe in them creates a psychological shield against stress because students feel that they are not alone in their journey. A healthy support system also promotes balance by reminding students to take breaks, rest, and maintain a life outside academics. Friends may invite them to engage in sports, laughter, social activities that act as stress relievers. Family may remind them to eat properly or take care of their health. These reminders may seem small. They play a vital role in preventing burnout. Without such support, students may push themselves excessively, unaware of the damage they are causing to their mental and physical well-being. Finally, being part of a positive support system allows students to contribute as well as receive. Encouraging peers, helping classmates with studies, or simply being present for others creates a cycle of mutual support. Not only strengthens relationships, but also reduces stress because students feel a sense of belonging and purpose. They are part of a community where everyone uplifts one another, individual burdens feel lighter, and achievements feel more meaningful. A positive support system, therefore, is not just a safety net, but a source of energy, guidance, and joy that makes the pursuit of academic targets smoother and far less stressful. So, my dear students, remember this: success is not about rushing to the finish line with fear in your heart. It is about walking the journey with clarity, discipline, and joy. Break your targets into small steps. Focus on the process instead of worrying about results. Manage your time wisely, and see every mistake as a lesson. Take care of your body and your mind, and surround yourself with people who lift you higher. When you do this, you will discover that targets are not mountains meant to crush you. They are paths designed to strengthen you. Achieve your goals. Yes, achieve them with peace in your heart and a smile on your face. Because real success is not just about reaching the destination. It is about becoming stronger, calmer, happier along the way.